Well, before you accuse me, you take a look at yourself. Well, before you accuse me, you take a look at yourself.
Hey guys, Ryan here. I'm at Bogga Road Gaol. It is really good here. I love the conditions, and I've got the tour guide here, Tegan. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Now, Tegan, tell us a bit about what you guys do when you bring the tourists here to this gaol. It's pretty hefty, pretty heavy, sort of lots of history, details. Tell us a bit about your tour and all the other tours you do.
So I'm a history guide here. For the history tour, I take tour groups through the jail. We look at the history from when we opened as a women's jail all the way through to when we closed as a men's jail. Other tours that we have are escapes tours, so we take you through different areas, show you the spots and how these men managed to get out.
Also, I hear you've got a couple of ghosts here, some of my relatives maybe.
Perhaps they are your relatives. No, so we do have ghost tours here at the jail. They run every weekend, and we go through, basically they're the stories that we can't tell on a history tour. We get big numbers for those.
Sounds really good. And for me, it's quite good because if I want to escape, Brisbane City's just down the road, got the River Cat so I can make my getaway.
That's if you get that far.
Well, never say never. It's a pleasure talking to you. Put it there. I like that hard handshake there from Tegan. Guys, you know where to come if you want to see me, yeah.
Well, before you accuse me, you take a look at yourself. Well, before you accuse me, you take a look at yourself. I've been running around with other women.
Stop right there. What have you got in your hand?
Nothing, boss.
Open it up. Palm up so we can see. In future, when you're marching, make sure you have your hands by your sides,
Yes, boss.
or else you'll be punished on half rations.
Yes, boss. I'm here with Jack, the jail director. Mate, how are you?
Oh, g'day, mate. Good to have you in prison.
Mate, used to it. Now listen, the history of this is amazing. Lots of things happening here. We've had hangings, we've had females, part of it, guys, teenagers, and there's lots more history. Tell us a bit about the history of Bogga Road Gaol.
Well, when the jail opened in 1883, it was on the outskirts of Brisbane. And over time, like as the city grew and the population grew, crime increased, so the jail grew. And as it grew, the troublemakers people read about in the newspapers, on TV, they ended up inside its walls. And look, not everyone was notorious. The vast majority of people that came through here were ordinary people, stealing things, breaking and entering, doing what would be regarded as relatively minor crime. But, for all the innocent ones or, relatively minor offenders, there were plenty of people that were truly infamous.
Now, tell me some of the crimes that took place here in Australia, Queensland, that actually led to a hanging.
Well, mostly it was for murder. So from 1883 to 1913, people were executed at Bogga Road Gaol, and their crimes were, some of the worst in the state's history. Murdering of children, the crimes involving killing other people. They were very serious offenders. At the time, Queensland law allowed for the death penalty, and so some people paid the ultimate penalty and were hanged at the jail.
Now, I'm quite curious about the lady and the teenager. What were their crimes?
Ellen Thompson, she was convicted of conspiring with her much younger lover to murder her husband. She, on her last words were that she was dying like an injured angel. In reality, she was as guilty as sin, but there are many people that at the time wanted her to be spared the death penalty because she was a woman, and she remains the only woman ever executed in Queensland. Her death was pretty ghastly. The hanging was botched and her throat was cut. But she didn't survive the execution. And the youngest person executed in Queensland was young Frank Horrocks, who was 17 years of age and technically a child under the law, but he murdered another young person and again paid for his crime with his life.
And renowned Slim, the man, escaped Bogga Gaol. Tell us about the man.
He, Bogga Road Gaol, well, arguably one of our most notorious, most well-known characters was Slim. He escaped number 2 division that we've been exploring today. He got out twice and became known as the Houdini of Bogga Road because of his attempts at escape and his 2 successful escapes. He came back in the early 1950s to serve a life sentence for murder, and he's become one of our most well-known characters that we talk about on our tours. You get to see his cell as well on the history tour and the escapes tour.
Now, what was it like escaping? Like, was it hard to do it? How do you know how he actually did it?
Oh yeah, on our escapes tour, we go into it in really great detail.
Yes.
And he was very clever. He was very clever. He basically identified a spot on the wall where there was the opportunity to secure a grappling hook. He worked in the canvas and mattress shop, so he had access to pieces of wood to make a grappling hook and rope and cord to make a ladder. And he picked the right time of day when there were no foot patrols and went over the wall. That was for his first escape, and 6 years later did it again very close to the same spot he went over in 1940. Similar thing, made a grappling hook over the wall, took 2 other fellas with him. But that diminishes, it's quite clever to get out. Look, the easy part, to be honest, Pete, is to get out. The hardest part is to stay at large on the other side of the wall. And
that's right.
All the great jailbreaks there were at Bogga Road, nearly all of them failed to stay at large for very long. It's hard to make money, stay free when you haven't got a job and you can't show your face. So,
Yeah, tough laws back then. Laws are still the same a little bit now, but it's getting tougher out there, mate. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Good to have you
here at the Bogga Gaol Jail. It is going off here. If you want to come and see heavy stuff, you want to see me behind bars, my cousins, my relatives, they're all there waiting for you. Don't forget, come and see us. Mate, a pleasure again. See you at the Gaol. Yeah.
Hey, Pete, I hate to have a go at you, but it's not Gaol, it's jail. Gaol is jail. You keep saying goal. Everybody does it, don't worry. It's the old-fashioned spelling of jail in Australia.
That gives me the shits. I gotta go to the loo, man. Oh!
Falling as you went to sleep.
Right, Ryan, time for your visit. You only can talk about family matters, nothing to do with what's going on inside the jail.
Yes, boss. Hey, mate, away. Mate, you got that gear for me? Yeah? Okay. Tomorrow is the time. I need that stuff tomorrow because the boys in here are getting pretty restless. And it's all coming down on me, so make sure you bring it in tomorrow, otherwise it's for me and it's going to be heavy on you, man.
No problems. You tell me what you need and we'll get it for you.
Yeah, first thing 8 a.m, mate. This is my last visit for this month, so make sure you bring it. Cool.
So a piece of graffiti here reads, "Greetings from the Lord Humongous, the warrior of the wastelands, the Ayatollah of rock and roller," and it's dated 89. 1989 was the year that number 2 division, that's the part still standing today, was decommissioned. The quote is from the movie Mad Max 2, which depicts a post-apocalyptic world where law and order has completely broken down. It's survival of the fittest. And in 1989, Bogga Road Gaol was like that for those that were locked up here. It was like a world completely different from the rest of society. Violent, aggressive and dangerous, and only the tough survived.
I thought I heard you falling as you went to sleep last night. The angels were calling, they had you